Hello, I'm Louise and this is the out-of-print audiobooks request list for February 2025. The request list contains the out-of-print audiobooks that my viewers have asked me to find and upload to this channel. If you would like to request an out-of-print audiobook, you can leave a comment under any video and I will see what I can do. There are nearly 160 titles on this list. If you have any of the audiobooks that I haven't already tracked down and would like to share them with me, you can email me at arrow.youtube@hotmail.co.uk. Some people have been emailing me and the emails were going straight into my junk folder, so if you don't receive a reply from me within a week, please feel free to add a comment on any video to nudge me into checking my email more carefully. If you would like to contribute towards the purchasing of any of these audiobooks, you can make a donation via the Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/out-of-print audiobooks. Before we start, I've been informed of another YouTube channel that has uploaded some of the titles on the request list. This channel is called Unreeled, and they do the same thing I do, digitise audiobooks from discontinued CDs and cassettes and upload them to YouTube. The titles they have are Pat Hutchins, Follow That Bus, read by Griff Rhys-Jones. Frances Hodgson Burnett, The Secret Garden, read by Carol Boyd. Leon Garfield, The Stories from Shakespeare titles, read by Simon Russell Beale and Claire Higgins. C.S. Lewis, The Magician's Nephew, read by Andrew Sachs. I've linked to them in the description. They're a very small channel at the moment and I imagine they would appreciate our support. Go and check them out. If you like what they do, subscribe to them and tell them I said hi. Let's start with the requests that have been found but copyright claimed. As a result, these can't be uploaded to the channel. Lynn Reed Banks, The Indian in the Cupboard, The Secret of the Indian, The Mystery of the Cupboard, and The Key to the Indian, read by the author. C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia series, dramatised by Focus on the Family. Judy Blume, Iggy's House, read by Susanna Fellows. Susan Cooper, King of Shadows, read by Jim Dale. Now the titles that have been found and will be uploaded over the coming months. A huge thank you to those people who send me audiobooks to upload to the channel. You're real heroes and I really appreciate you. Walt Disney Storytime Collection, all cassettes. K.E. Mansky, Pong Whiffy Back on Track, read by Prunella Scales. Roald Dahl, The Witches, read by Judy Bennett. Anne Fine, Goggle Eyes, read by Jane Asher. Kenneth Graham, The Wind in the Willows, read by John Baddeley. Jill Barklam, Four Seasons of Bramley Hedge, dramatised with Anna Massey. Roald Dahl, Rhyme Stew, read by Pam Ferris and Geoffrey Palmer. Anne Fine, Flower Babies, read by Richard Mitchley. Alex Garland, The Coma, read by Matthew McFadden. Gerald Seymour, A Line in the Sand, read by Anthony Head. Roald Dahl, The BFG, read by Geoffrey Palmer. David Henry Wilson, Do Gerbils Go to Heaven, read by Andy Crane. David Henry Wilson, Never Steal Wheels from a Dog, read by Andy Crane. Geraldine McCaughrean, Stories from Shakespeare, read by James Wilby. Lynn Reed Banks, The Fairy Rebel, read by the author. Henrietta Branford, Space Baby, read by Prunella Scales. Humphrey Carpenter, Shakespeare Without the Boring Bits, read by Carol Boyd. Humphrey Carpenter, More Shakespeare Without the Boring Bits, read by Carol Boyd. Evelyn Waugh, Brideshead Revisited, read by Nigel Havers. Nigel Hinton, Beaver Towers, The Witch's Revenge, read by Nigel Lambert. Nigel Hinton, Run to Beaver Towers, a.k.a. Beaver Towers The Dangerous Journey, read by Nigel Lambert. Roald Dahl, The Magic Finger, read by Anne Clements. Roald Dahl, Fantastic Mr. Fox, dramatised, featuring John Baddeley. She Children's Classics, Anne of Green Gables, dramatised. She Children's Classics, The Railway Children, dramatised. Terence Blacker, No Magic Please, read by Helen Lederer. 5 other titles in Terence Blacker's Ms. Wiz series, read by Susie Aitchison. Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, read by Jonathan Cecil. Paula Danzinger, The Pistachio Prescription, read by the author. Frank Richards. 6 titles in the Billy Bunter series, read by Martin Jarvis. Muriel Spark. The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, read by Geraldine McEwen. W. E. Johns. Biggles Defies the Swastika, read by Tim Pickett-Smith. Dorothy Edwards. My Naughty Little Sister's Friends, read by Jan Francis. Modwina Sedgwick. Galdora the Ragdoll, read by Barbara Bliss. A. A. Milne. The House at Pooh Corner, read by Lionel Jeffries. Ira Levin. Rosemary's Baby, read by Peter Marinka. Wilkie Collins. The Moonstone, read by Michael Pennington, Terence Hardiman, and Carol Boyd. Agatha Christie. Third Girl, read by John Woodvine. Agatha Christie. The Labours of Hercules, read by John Woodvine. Daphne du Maurier. I'll Never Be Young Again, read by Jonathan Firth. Dick King-Smith. The Witch of Blackberry Bottom, read by Prunella Scales. Humphrey Carpenter. 6 Mr. Magica titles, read by the author and Andrew Sachs. Jill Murphy. 5 Worst Witch titles, read by Miriam Margolyes. Next are the audiobooks that are currently available for me to purchase, most expensive to least expensive, just to mix things up. If you would like to contribute towards the cost of any of these audiobooks, you can make a donation via the Ko-fi page mentioned earlier, which is linked in the description. This is really helpful in the case of the rare audiobooks, which can get snapped up very fast. Eleanor Porter, Pollyanna, read by Hannah Gordon, £130. C.S. Lewis, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, read by Andrew Sachs, £87. Evelyn Waugh, Vile Bodies, read by Nathaniel Parker, Amelia Fox and Tobias Menzies, £76. Elizabeth Buchan, Against Her Nature, read by Stellan Gonnet, £75. Helen Cresswell, Lizzie Dripping and the Witch, read by Patricia Routledge, £74. Robin Rowe, A List of Cages, read by Graham Halstead and Christopher Gerber, £46. Alice Walker, Possessing the Secret of Joy, read by the author, £41. Lao Tse, Tao Te Ching, read by Carol Boyd and John Rowe, £38. A. A. Milne, Winnie the Pooh, read by Lionel Jeffries, £29. Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, read by Robert Powell, £27. Roald Dahl, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, read by David Suchet, £27. W. E. Johns, Biggles Pioneer Airfighter, read by Michael York, £23. Muriel Spark, Territorial Rights, read by Nigel Hawthorne, £23. Dick Francis, Proof, read by Charles Dance, £22. Doreen Tovey, Life with Grandma, read by Diana Bishop, £22. Rosamund Pilcher, The End of Summer, read by Stella Gonnet, £21. Elizabeth Buchan, Light of the Moon, read by Stella Gonnet, £18. Brian Sibley, Shadowlands, read by David Suchet, £18. Humphrey Carpenter, Mr. Magica, read by the author, £14. Dick King-Smith, The Foxbusters, read by Robert Hardy, £10. Jane Austen, Sense and Sensibility, read by Miranda Richardson, £9. Anthony Trollope, Barchester Towers, read by Nigel Hawthorne, £9. Michael Rosen, You Can't Catch Me, read by the author, £8. Dick Francis, Come Back, read by Colin Firth, £8. Nick Park, Chicken Run, read by Imelda Staunton, £7. Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights, read by Prunella Scales and Samuel West, £6. Eva Rice, The Lost Art of Keeping Secrets, read by Rosamund Pike, £4. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, read by Celia Johnson, £4. Lastly, the unavailable requests. These are the ones that I have been unable to find anywhere. These are in most recently requested to oldest order. Doreen Tovey, Roses Round the Door, read by Anne Cater. Doreen Tovey, Cats in the Belfry, read by Diana Bishop. Enid Blyton, The Secret Island, read by Jan Francis. Humphrey Carpenter, Mr. Majika and the Dinner Lady and Mr. Majika and the Music Teacher, read by the author. Robert Clifford, Just Here, Doctor, read by Richard Mitchley. Judy Corbelis, The Wrestling Princess and Other Stories, read by Celia Imrie. Tony Bradman, Mystery on Tape, read by Kevin Watley. Joan Stimson, Telephone Ted, read by John Pertwee and Jan Francis. Catherine Cookson, Kate Hannigan, read by Juliet Stevenson. Peter Fleming, One's Company, read by James Wilson. Michael Rosen, The Michael Rosen Rap and Right Class 6, read by the author. John Marston, Looking for Trouble. Gary Kilworth, The Drowners, read by Christian Rodska. William Gibson, Virtual Light, read by Peter Weller. W. E. Johns, Other Biggles titles, read by Tim Pickett-Smith. Brian Moore, The Lonely Passion of Judith Hearn, read by Francis Tomelty. Joyce Stranger, The Running Foxes, read by Elizabeth Henry. C.S. Lewis, The Silver Chair and the Other Narnia Books, read by Andrew Sachs. Lynn Reed Banks, I, Houdini, read by the author. Faye Sampson, Josh's Panther, read by Tony Robinson. Betsy Byers, Cracker Jackson, read by Kerry Shale. Roald Dahl, The Minpins, read by Joss Ackland. Burley Doherty, The Snake Stone, read by Dermot Crowley. Terence Blacker, Time Flies for Ms. Whiz, read by Helen Lederer. Terence Blacker, Ms. Whiz Spells Trouble, read by Helen Lederer. Mick Inkpen, Little Kipper's Story Collection, read by Martin Clunes. Enid Blyton, The Mystery of Holly Lane, dramatised. Anne Cameron, The Julian Stories, read by Peter Marinka. K. Umansky, Hammy House of Horror, read by Sandy Toksvig. K. Umansky, Wilma's Wicked Revenge, read by Sandy Toksvig. K. Umansky, Wilma's Wicked Spell, read by Sandy Toksvig. Philip Ridley, Caspar in the Glitter, read by David Holt. Mary Stewart, The Arthurian Trilogy, read by Nicole Williamson. Michael Rosen, The Wicked Tricks of Till Allyglass, read by the author. Nicholas Fisk, Broops Down the Chimney, read by Andy Crane. Fiona Kelly, The Mystery Club series, read by Judith Boyd. Margaret Stewart Barry, Simon and the Witch, read by Elizabeth Spriggs. Nio Marsh, Scales of Justice, read by Belinda Lang. Pat Hutchins, The House That Sailed Away, read by Bridget Forsyth. Justin Somper, Tide of Terror, read by Daniel Philpott. Jan Mark, Thunder and Lightnings, read by Andy Crane. Betsy Haynes, Teacher Creature, dramatised. Robert Leeson, The Demon Bike Rider, read by Kenneth Shanley. Nina Borden, The Peppermint Pig, read by Carol Boyd. Robert Leeson, Third Class Genie, read by Kenneth Shanley. Michael Morpurgo, Tom's Sausage Lion, read by Philip Jackson. Jean Kemp, No Place Like, read by John Green. Mark Haddon, Agent Zed Meets the Masked Crusader, read by Rory McGrath. Michael Morpurgo, Black Queen, read by Anton Lesser. Jean Kemp, Just Ferret, read by John Green. Jean Kemp, Juniper, read by Sarah Green. Jean Kemp, Gowie Corby Plays Chicken, read by John Green. John Antrobus, Help! I'm a prisoner in a toothpaste factory, read by Spike Milligan. Rupert and the River Pirates, read by Judy Bennett. And those are all the requested audiobooks as of February 2025. Which titles are you most looking forward to listening to? As I mentioned, if you have any of the audiobooks I can't find and you would like to share them with me, you can email me at arrow.youtube@hotmail.co.uk, or you can support Out of Print Audiobooks via the Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Out of Print Audiobooks. I very much hope you enjoy the upcoming audiobooks. Goodbye for now.